Hello everyone, I'm Sonam Sandhu from PTE Made. And in this session, I'm going to focus on PTE Listening Fill in the Blanks. And through this session, I'll be sharing the exam questions of November 2023. Please go through the video in detail, watch everything carefully and prepare notes simultaneously. In this session, I'll also be sharing the tips for solving PTE Listening Fill in the Blanks easily. Now, let's get started with the practice and do not forget to read the question before the audio starts, read the text before the audio starts. Later on, focus on the words before and after the blank, and finally, writing down the answer along with the audio during the time audio is getting played. I'm pretty sure you are all going to master this skill properly and you'll also share the same video with others. Now let's get started with the practice part of the exam questions of November 2023. Let's get started.
So between 4000 and 3000 BC the Mesopotamian Sumerian cultures do not practice any kind of burial. And then, about 3000, in the early dynastic period, these burials start to reappear, and they reappear with a certain amount of conspicuous consumption, and this is the context for the royal burials at Ur. Okay, so, the royal cemetery consists of quite a number of pits, so these are the excavation workers who are coming down into the pits, so you get some sense of how really deep and how really difficult it was to construct these chambers.
Now, it is going to be very quick. You simply need to use the time or utilize the time given before the audio starts for going through the text once. I did not get it this time, so I had to start it like this only. But whatever they said, you simply need to follow the audio. Whatever they are speaking up, simply move the cursor along with the audio, or maybe you can listen to the same carefully. Cultures do not practice any kind of burial, okay? And then about 3000 in the early dynastic period, these burials start to reappear. They reappear with a certain amount of conspicuous. Okay, here we need to check the spellings at the end so that we do not commit any mistakes. Conspicuous. This is what they said, CUOUS. Now, this is a difficult word, difficult spelling. You can write it down in your spelling notebook. I always encourage all my learners out there to have a vocabulary notebook and the template notebook. So in the half part of the notebook, simply write the spellings of difficult words so you do not commit any mistake in the exam. Write down the spellings of the words in which you faced problem during your listening. Fill in the blanks or maybe the write from dictation part practice. You write down those words and at the end follow the template one as well. Now, what did we do? We simply have to go through the text once, then we have to listen to the audio carefully and write down the answers simultaneously. Okay. Then they said, so these are the excavation workers who are coming down into the pits. So you get some sense how really deep and how really difficult it was to construct these chambers. Let us get started with the next one. Now here we'll simply go through the same and important question about
An important question about education is then, why do some types of student achieve success easily and others struggle to do well? Well, one theory is that there's a genetic reason for academic achievement. What I mean by that is a certain innate, measurable level of intelligence. Another frequently discussed theory is environmental factors, such as the effect of home and family upbringing. A final reason is related to the teaching and learning process within educational institutions, and the way it is organised, administered, and assessed.
So it's all about listening to the audio carefully. If you listen to the audio carefully, you can easily do this particular task. You're not going to face any problem. Simply check the audio before the exam starts so that you do not face any problem in the mic. Okay, that's what you need to check. So they clearly mentioned genetic, intelligence, then learning process within educational institution and the way it is organized, administered. or assessed. So we need to write the same. Now there's one thing that you need to follow. If you are getting confused in something like such, what can be done? You can simply write down the answers onto the erasable booklet during the time audio is getting played. 1, 2, 3, 4, write down the answers. And later on, type the answers onto the screen. That can also be done. It's all about just going through the text once before the audio starts. Just go through it quickly. Here we are not getting time because it is the practice part, but in the actual exam we get time and we can go through the phrase, we can go through the text once. So that's what you need to do. Now let us check the answers as well. Same genetic intelligence process assessed. Okay. Now next.
Owls can be found in dense forests right across North America. They feed on small mammals, fish, birds, and small reptiles, pretty much anything that comes their way. The barred owl grows up to half a meter tall and has emerged as a very adaptable nocturnal predator. Whereas they've been long thought to live in old-growth forests, they're now building up quite an urban population. In Charlotte, North Carolina, barred owls tend to nest in the cavities of the numerous willow oak trees that line the city streets. Far from being endangered, the owls have expanded their range, and now, in some places, conservationists are worried about the effects they might have on other native species.
So it's all about listening to the same carefully, nothing else. Just listen to the same carefully, and I'm pretty sure you'll be able to master it. And it's quite easy, guys. Simply follow the same, listen to the audio carefully, and if you're not good at the listening skills part, you should start listening to the podcast, or you should, and whenever you are listening to the podcast, write down the important keywords or try writing down the whole transcript. That will help you a lot in improving your listening module, in improving the write from dictation part, and improving the repeat sentence of speaking module part as well. So please start listening to the podcast on Spotify, or you can also watch TED Talks on YouTube as well. Let's just on to the next one.
Before the beginning of the 1900s, the only way to obtain pearls was by collecting very large numbers of pearl oysters from the ocean floor by hand. The oysters, or sometimes mussels, were brought to the surface, opened and searched. More than a ton of these had to be checked in order to find just 3 or 4 quality pearls. Divers often descended to depths of over 100 feet on just one single breath. Now, of course, this exposed them to hostile creatures and dangerous waves, not to mention drowning. In some areas, divers put grease on their bodies to conserve heat, and they held a large object, like a rock, to descend, so they didn't have to exert effort going down. Today, pearl diving has pretty much been supplanted by cultured pearl farms. Particles are implanted in the oyster to encourage the formation of pearls, and this allows for more predictable production. The divers who still work do so mainly for the tourist industry.
So this is what they said: searched, hostile, object, farms, tourist. You can also do one more thing. Whenever there is a blank, you can actually think of the word form. For example, were brought to the surface, opened and searched. So opened is an adjective. Here also some adjective will come. Now, of course, this exposed them to dash creatures. Again, creatures is a noun. So before noun we'll get an adjective, hostile creatures. So we simply need to follow the same. Here it was tourist, I wrote tourists by mistake. You may simply write tourist only, and it was like whenever you listen to the same, take care of the singular plural thing as well. If you write plural instead of singular, then also 1 mark will get deducted. You will not get a score for the same. So take care of this. Coming to the last one.
Almost everyone has heard of the London Stock Exchange, but relatively few know anything about the London Metal and Commodity Exchanges. Yet these markets have a greater influence on world economies because they set global prices for some of the essential raw materials for industry and food manufacture. The LME provides 3 basic services to the world's non-ferrous metal trade. First, it is a market where large or small quantities of metal of a guaranteed minimum standard can be bought and sold on specific trading days. Second, it acts as a barometer of world metal prices. And third, it is a hedging medium. That is, it can help traders get some protection from price fluctuations that occur for economic, political or financial reasons.
So these were the questions that were in the November 2023 PTE exam, listening fill in the blanks. Please go through the same ones and practice as per the same strategy. Go through the text ones, think of the word form, listen to the audio carefully and fill in the blank with the answer simultaneously when the audio is getting played. If you're not able to write or type that particular time, it's better you write that down onto the erasable booklet and later on transfer the answers onto the screen. That's it. I'm pretty sure you must have understood or you have also practiced with me. If not, watch the video again and practice it with me. As soon as you were able to hear it, you may write down the answers onto the page or maybe some notebook of yours. So thank you so much. I hope you all have understood how do you need to do PT listening fill in the blanks. And you know, PT listening fill in the blanks will give you total of 14 marks, 7 for writing and 7 for listening. So please do not skip this, do it properly and practice it at home. During the practice time, if you face any problem, do let me know in the comment section and I'll definitely shoot a video on the same for you. Thank you so much for joining me today. Bye bye and